Good day. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, everyone. Good to see all of you. How are we all doing? Very good. All right, so today, got a great lesson for you today. Very exciting, very exciting. Today, we will be doing... What are you doing?
I want to check this out.
I'm trying to teach him a lesson here. I'm in the middle of something.
These are the juniors, huh?
Yeah.
I thought you said they were horrible. Oh, are you doing the double exercise today? Yeah, this is cool.
Stop. Just go. Just go.
Okay.
Just go.
All right.
Go. Go.
Okay.
I apologize. Today we'll be doing the double exercise.
That made me want to kill myself. That scared me.
It scared you? How many of you did I fool? How many of you did I fool? A few of you. I saw a few of you that were like, wait, what's going on? I saw a few of you that responded to like, hey, how's it going today, guys? And like some of you were like, yeah, I'm good.
I saw the screen share thing still up, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can't figure out how to hide that part. That's the only thing. I got to play around with that at lunch.
Oh,
So
actually, wait. You want a trick? Use OBS webcam, and then
Yeah,
just play
I
it
don't
through
have-
there so it shows up as your webcam.
Something was suspect when I saw it was like a shared screen.
Okay, so I got to figure out how to turn off that feature. If I was doing real broadcast software, I wouldn't have to deal with this amateur hour of Zoom. You know that Zoom records in 25 frames per second? Ridiculous. This is America,
That's
Zoom.
gross.
This is America. Jeez, get on the train, America. Come on, Zoom and your 25 frames per second. This is not Europe. All right. Well, welcome. Nice to have you all here today. Today's really short. I won't take a lot of your time today. I'm just going to show you how this effect is done, and then you can kind of get to it. This will be due before our next class. So our next class is Monday. So this is due on Sunday at like 11:59 p.m. So very similar to your green screen exercise. You have like the same amount of time. You can do something very simple for this and you'll get all the credit that you need. But if you want to have a little fun with it and go the extra mile, you may, if it's, worthy of it, you might get an extra point or two in terms of extra credit. Some of you could use an extra point or two of extra credit. So by all means, have some fun with it if you are so inclined. Because there's no rule that says you can't go a little overboard on this. So what I'm going to do, I wanted to like prepare some footage for you so that you could kind of play around with it. And I thought that I had some, and then I spent all day looking for it, and I don't know what happened to it. Like, I don't know where it is. It just disappeared, and I'm frustrated by that. But I digress. Okay, so I will share my screen, and you can kind of see how this is put together. It's actually really simple. It's actually really, really not that difficult. So if you wish to follow along in Premiere, you may, but I don't have any footage for you to work with. You would just put in like your own footage to kind of follow along with, but you'd have to shoot your own later. But if you think that you can learn just by watching me and you can remember how to do that, it's really not that hard. Then by all means, you may just watch my screen if that works for you. Okay, so here is my screen of Premiere, and I just shot this morning very, very quickly before class. And here is my footage. So you can see all my raw footage here. And here it is, all right here in my... And what I did is I actually just did it all in one take. I just did the one part, and then I got up, and then I did the other part. And then I'm just going to trim it together. Now, you could do this in 2 clips. I just did it in 1 clip because I was in a hurry, and I didn't want to get up and stop the Zoom feed. I was actually recording through Zoom because I wanted it to look as much like Zoom as possible. Yeah. And there are a couple of things that made this a little bit challenging that might make yours challenging when you make this. But first, you make your sequence. So here I have my sequence, and here it is. And what I did is I took my second clip, which is right here. This is my second clip, and this is my first clip. I just cut it where I needed it to. And then I put in the second clip here where I needed it to be, and kind of matched it up and made sure the timing was all that kind of appropriate and stuff. And the effect that I had to add here was over here in effects, is the, well, here, I'll just do it with you and you can see. So here's my first clip and here's my second clip, and you can see like it's covering up. So here's my effects, and I go to video effects, and the one that I am looking for is under transform, and it's the crop tool. We talked about this briefly the other day when we were talking about green screen and getting rid of stuff that maybe you don't need. So that's what we're doing for the double exercise. So if you had to do that at all for your green screen exercise, this will be really, really simple because that's basically all it is. So I take the crop effect, I put it on here, and nothing happens. Nothing happens because it's up here in my effect controls, and I need to affect my controls. I need to control my effects before anything will actually happen. So here's my crop. I just put it on there, and you see if I drill it open here, there's a left and a top and a right and a bottom. And if I take the left slider and I slide it, it's just going to crop from the left. Same thing as if I do the top, it'll crop from the top, and the right will crop from the right, and so on and so forth. Okay, pretty simple. So for this, I obviously want to crop on the left, so I'm going to crop on the left, and I'm just going to crop it by moving this slider at a moment that feels like it's going to work, and that feels like it's going to work, and I'm done. But what is the problem here, folks? What's the problem with this? Anyone see?
There's that little line.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that weird line in the middle. Like, it's totally obvious that it's fake. That's not cool. I don't like that. How do I fix that? So we have also in this crop effect, we have something called the edge feather. So I'm going to drill that open, and I'm just going to adjust this slider until it looks like kind of real. If I do this too much or too little, weird stuff will happen. So I'm just going to fade it, and this just kind of fades that line. Okay, so now I have faded that line so it looks a little more natural. What else is a problem?
There's kind of a color difference between
There's
the two.
kind of a color difference. Yeah, there's kind of a color difference. So I actually did go to this clip here, and I adjusted my exposure ever so slightly because before it was brighter, and it was a really noticeable difference when it came on. So if I reset this, you can see when the other clip kicks in.
Very exciting today.
You see the color change? See the color change as it added that second clip? All of a sudden it gets a little bit darker. So what I did here is on my first clip, I tried to match the color a little bit. I just darkened it a touch. If I go to 2, let's see how that looks.
Very exciting today.
And that's actually too dark. So I'll go back to 1.
Very exciting today.
And that's pretty close. The color is a little bit different. But to hide that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross fade this. So this clip fades in. So it's going to happen gradually. The color is going to change gradually, and you won't notice it. You'll think it's like the sun going behind a cloud or something like that. You won't even notice it at all. So I'm going to go to transition, and I'm going to go to, oops, not that one. That's transform. I'm going to go to video transitions right here. And I'm going to go to dissolve. And this one that's highlighted in blue, this is the one that you like are always going to use all the time. This is the most common effect that you're ever going to use. It's this one that says cross dissolve. This is how you fade in. This is how you fade out. This is how you blend clips together. So if I wanted to drag this at the beginning of my clip, it would give me a nice fade in. See, very nice, very pretty, very lovely. But I don't want that. What I do want is to fade this clip in. And that way, that color, it'll hide that color difference. So I'm going to add that right there, and we'll see how this looks.
Very exciting today. We will be doing.
And that looks pretty good. I don't think any of you noticed that it gradually fades in. If I need to change the length of this, I can adjust the length of this dissolve to be greater or shorter. I can have it dissolve really quickly, like this, or I can have it dissolve really slowly, which is going to look really strange if I do it like this. Very exciting. Today, we will be doing... I'm like a ghost. I'm slowly materializing right before your eyes. So I don't want that. But this is good because it's going to fade in that color, and then it looks real and authentic. Now, the other issue that I had with this particular edit was in the timing of my lines. I just did it off of my brain. I didn't like time it or anything like that because I was in a hurry just to do it. So the timing of these lines wasn't perfect. So in order to get the timing right, I had to cut this middle section and actually slow it down. This middle section right here, I just took this one clip and I cut it here and I cut it here. And then I slowed down this middle section where this guy is not talking. Because I needed him to be slower because he delivered his lines a little too quickly. So to do that, I right-clicked it, and I went to speed and duration, and I slowed it down until I got a number that fit this little hole right here, and it was 60%. And then I can play it back, and he holds that a little bit longer. Oh, I changed my crop. I was like, why is that line changing? It's because I adjusted my crop right before your eyes. There we go. So right there, he's in like super slow motion. But you'd never notice it because he's not delivering any lines or anything like that. He's just holding that moment. And that's it. The only other change that I made to this was just making sure the volume was the same. But I haven't taught you guys how to do sound yet, so I don't really expect you guys to deal with any volume or sound or anything like that. For your assignment, what you need to do is you need to shoot something similar and create your own sort of double exercise. And you can have fun with this. You can have, I can see the gears turning in some of your heads. This can be fun. You can play around with this. You can make a little movie if you want. Don't make it crazy long, okay? I don't want to watch a 10-minute movie, okay? But if you make something that's like a couple minutes, that's fine. This right here is only 1 minute and 6 seconds. And it's not even that because there's black at the end. So, you know, something very similar like this. The goal is to make it look as real as possible. I want you to, I don't want to see the cut line. I don't want to be able to see the line that's happening here. So when you shoot this with your cameras, you have to do this in such a way that it's going to work. So you have to think about this as you shoot. This means you need to put your camera on a tripod and you need to film one side and then you need to film the other, and you can't move the tripod. If you move the tripod, if you bump the tripod even a little bit, you're going to be screwed. It will not work. It will look, it'll look like this. If you bump the tripod, something weird will happen and it won't line up. And then it will not be believable. And you don't want that. So don't bump your tripod. Make sure your tripod stays steady. That is the secret to this particular method. You have to have it on the tripod and you have to have it locked down. We call that locked down. So make sure that your tripod is locked down and that when you hit record, you do so gently so that you don't bump your tripod. Because if you do, that line is going to get off and it will not work. It will not match up. The other thing that you need to make sure you think about as you record it is the light, because the light can change. My light changed a little bit when I was standing over here, just because the light that's casting on me right now, I wasn't sitting here, so I wasn't reflecting light, and my body wasn't blocking light or reflecting light in certain ways. So it created shadows that weren't there. That's why the two clips were not quite exactly perfect, because my body is a variable in terms of the light, right? So when you record yours, be thinking about the light. If you do yours outside, for example, it's really easy for the sun to pop behind a cloud or to move into the shade, and all of a sudden your two shots don't match at all and you're screwed. So if they're close enough, you can do what I did here, which is adjust the exposure in my Lumetri color here, which is really easy. You just click on the clip that you want to adjust. You can go to your color tool, up your color layout right here, and then you can just adjust exposure and start playing around with that. But if you like shoot in the shade, right, and the other one you shoot like on a hot sunny day, like that's not going to work, right? Like that will suck for you. So you want to make sure that you try to match the color as best that you can. Sometimes that means you might have to adjust the color one way or the other, right? You know, like maybe this one's really green or something like that. I don't know. I haven't taught you about color correction yet, but I will. I will at some point. I will. So that's another thing that you need to think about in addition to timing and all that kind of stuff. The last thing that you have to think about when you're doing this is where your plane is. So when I shot this, I thought about where my plane was. So I set myself up and I moved myself over a little bit to the side, a little more than I normally am. And I kind of looked at where my shoulder was here. If you look at my talking screen, I looked at where my shoulder was here and I thought, okay, it's where these white books are. Right here, or in my video right here. It's like these are where my white books are. And so I said to myself, self, don't cross that plane. Do not move over across the books, because if I move over across the book, that's going to be my crop line, and I'll crop myself out, and it won't work. So you need to be mindful about what line you cannot cross when you're acting in front of your camera. You need to make sure you know where that line is. Now, this line does not have to be a straight line, okay? So here's a straight line, but it doesn't have to be a straight line. You can adjust this in a number of ways. So I can go to my crop tool and I can crop the bottom here. Let's say I wanted to crop the bottom because maybe I put my arm, the other character put his arm out there or something, all right? So I could crop it something like this, like maybe I just need my face, and that way I can use this space for my other character. But maybe you've got like a really weird kind of crop. Like what if like my arm raises at a certain moment of time or something like that, and have like a really, really weird crop. I'm going to show you an example at the end of this for one that I made when I was in class a few years ago. And I had to do kind of a funny crop in order to make that work. So to do that, you can do what we did with the green screen. We talked about the pen right here. So we have my crop effect. Here's my pen. And maybe I just want this little section here, and I can go like this. And I can just kind of crop myself in this corner. And then I can crop it. Oh, no, Mr. Taylor, I didn't want that. I wanted the opposite of that. Oh, that's okay. That's what this little inverted box is for right here. Boom, done. All right. So now I've got just my crop here, and now it's not a straight line. It's a nice like zigzaggedy line, which is maybe what I need, depending on how I acted or how my actor acted, and so on and so forth. Okay. And to do that, again, it's still under the crop, but it uses these little tools here. You've got these shapes, so I could do it with the shape if I wanted to. It's going to create a mask, but I like to use the pen tool because then I can be really exact with it. And I haven't taught you how to do this yet, but you could keyframe this if you needed to. And what keyframes do, or keyframes would adjust the lines over time. So if I wanted the crop to be here at 10 seconds, but way over here at 12 seconds, I could actually do that. I could actually change that with keyframes. But I haven't taught you how to do that. But I will one day. But if you need to do that, that's something for you to Google and something for you to explore and teach yourself. And you can learn something cool before I get to it. Okay. That's basically it. When you're done, you export it, you drop it in my Google folder. Are there any questions? It's one simple effect. Is that clear to everyone? Does that make sense to you? Okay. I have recorded this lesson, and I will probably record my lesson again in the afternoon. And I will upload it to YouTube. So if you need a refresher when you're actually doing this, I will have it on my YouTube channel. It will be there for you to review if you are so inclined. And then that way, you can look at it again if you need to. Okay, so now I will show you my finished amazing project here. So I will go to YouTube because I believe I posted it on YouTube, and I will go to my channel. And oh, you know what? I don't think I posted it on this channel. Did I post it on this channel? It was a long time ago. Oh, you know what? I posted it on my Raccoon Tunes channel. That's where I posted it. Here we go. Yeah, here we go. Okay.
bum ba da ba da ba 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 da ba da ba 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 da ba 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 da ba ba da ba 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 da ba da bum ba dum bum bum ba da ba da ba bum ba dum bum bum ba ba da ba bum ba dum ba dum oh bum bum ba ba do ba do bum ba da ba bum ba-dum bum 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 ba-da ba bum ba-dum ba-dum.
There you go. Amazing, amazing work. The soundtrack was provided unwittingly by a former student of mine. One day when he was filming his senior narrative project or helping someone else film their senior narrative project, they were like waiting to like do a take, and he just started like singing into the audio recorder. and we found it in his dailies, and it became like our anthem. And we just play it all the time. It's just Alex singing. That's what it's called. It's Alex singing. And I save it forever and always, and I play it all the time, and it matches up with everything. It's amazing. It's beautiful. It's the gift that keeps on giving. So that is your assignment. Again, you're only required to do a double exercise. Very simple, like one shot, like that's all you need to get all the credit that you need for this particular assignment. But again, if you would like to go above and beyond, show off a little bit, showcase your skills, you've got a few days to do this. Normally, we would just do this in class. You would like all have your camera with you today. You'd go outside, you'd film it, you'd help a partner film theirs, and then you'd come back inside, and then you'd edit it. And by the end of the period, you would turn it in, because that's how fast we would do it. But since we don't have time to edit it all together, and we don't have time in class to shoot it, because we only have 75 minutes, I thought I would just teach it to you and then let you guys kind of do it on your own and have some fun with it. And you've got several days to do this. So again, it is due on Sunday at 11:59 p.m. I have updated the slate to reflect that. I've also added my slate for next week, because apparently we're doing that now. So apparently you get your slates for a week in advance. How cool is that? Doesn't mean you can actually do the assignments, because I've locked you out. So there. But that's when it is due. There is a folder for it in the Google Drive Dropbox. It is called Doublemint, after the famous Doublemint gum commercials in which they have twins running around. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, you should YouTube that, because those were amazing. Double your flavor, double your fun with Doublemint gum. So use that for inspiration if you are so inclined. I have nothing else for you today. I'm going to let you out massively early. It's only 11:26. We had a 26-minute long class today. How do you feel about that? Not too shabby, huh? Please remember that the next time I keep you late, because I will have to do that from time to time. So I'm banking a few more extra minutes here, and by a few more, I got like 40 minutes here. That's like a lot. I did well today. So if you have questions, you're welcome to hang out. I'd be happy to answer some questions for you. Otherwise, go do your thing. Have at it. So long. Farewell. Have fun.
Thank you.
Bye. Thank
See ya.
you. Bye. Thank you.
So long.